Testing 1 2. How's it sound? Testing. Testing. Blessings. How you doing? Mr. Niece? All right. Y'all together, right? Y'all in a circle. Oh, all right. Ashe. Greetings, family. How's everybody doing? All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Temple of New African Thought. We're going to do things a little different this week. I like to switch it up. I think I'm going to be the master of ceremony, the facilitator, all the things today. You know, I didn't imagine who was coming out, but I said, you know, master facilitation is not necessarily my strong suit, but I can do it. And then we'll sit down and we, have some conversation from a circle style today. We had I would say, with all humility, a powerful message last week entitled, "Spirit didn't call you to stay wounded, it called you to rise." And only befitting of this particular week, many people across the globe from different traditions, maybe not this day, but during this season, see this as a day or period of time where it's about newness. It's about transformation. It's about resurrecting, erecting, elevating, and going up to the next level. Shedding off the old and in with the new. So today, I want to say thank you and welcome to TNAT, Temple of New African Thought, aka TNAT Holistic Wellness Center, where we strive to heal through a holistic perspective, meaning that we connect all the pieces. We don't want to leave any out. And one of the main components is culture. Another component is history. Another component is intellectual and emotional balance. And at the core, as we spoke about last week, we spoke about really pulling all those layers back so that we can tap into our true selves, our unencumbered selves, or self, so that we can tap into what is truly there. I don't want to go too far because I can keep it going. But what I want to do is ask us to pay homage to our ancestors by reciting the oath to our ancestors. May I take one of y'all? Come here, yours, Camille, since you know by heart. I know it too, but my mind be slipping sometimes. If we can stand, family, and we can recite together. Oh, right here. Oh, yeah, that's a hand up. Everybody don't have one. I thought. Yeah. You know what? I'll just go ahead and do it. Y'all just go ahead and feel the energy. Come on, I'm gonna take it like that. Oh, ancestors, blacker than 1,000 midnights. African ancestors, it is to you that we, your children, give respect and honor. Oh, ancestors, we call upon you and welcome you in this place. African ancestors, let your presence fill this place. Oh, ancestors, who have been purposely excluded from the history books so the world would not know of your greatness. Our African ancestors, who gave civilization to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave the arts to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave music to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave the sciences to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave mathematics to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave medicine to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave literature to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave philosophy to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave God consciousness to the world. Oh, ancestors, we thank you for devoting your life to make a future for us. Your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. I knew y'all was going to get it. Now stand with us, strengthen us, guide us, teach us, and protect us from the snare of our enemies. Rise up, O African ancestors, and let our enemies be scattered. And give us the wisdom and the boldness to deal with our oppressors and those who would hinder the liberation and empowerment of our people. Rise up, O African ancestors, and live in us, and we will not fail to honor you. We will not fail to respect you. We will not fail to hear you, and we will not betray you. Ashe, 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 yo. Give our ancestors a round of applause, y'all. All right. Welcome again, family online. I hope you joined in with us on that. And family, you're here in the seats today. It's a pleasure to see you because we know this is a day that people are busy out doing so many things. People are traveling near and far, as they say, some abroad, you know. So we appreciate the faces in the space today. If we could, at this moment, if there's anyone in the circle that wants to share in their gifts, and I want us to keep that really, as I'm writing the book right now, and I want us to keep that in the forefront of our minds as we continue this work together, to share in their gifts and your gift, because we all have gifts. And one thing I realize is that we many times overlook one another's gifts, or we try to beat the gift out of another. But it's time that we stand in our gifts, know our gifts, so that we can bless the world and community. I share. So who wants to share? I don't care. And when I say gift, it doesn't have to be music. It can be music. It doesn't have to be a poem. It can be a poem. It could be a word of wisdom. It could be a scripture that you appreciate. It could be any gift that you have. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Show the world your brilliance, because the world is more dull without it. I don't care if it's the DJ sound on the ones and threes, DJ sound. I don't care if it's him. I don't give his brother Tyrant. You do a camera flick or something. Show us how you flick the camera or something. Show us how you hit the button. Or you get up here and do one of those poems you keep showing me. You get one of those poems, or both of y'all. He's an MC. They are men of many talents. Don't hide behind the table too long. Y'all can come on over here. Brother Tyrant can hold you down on the turntables a little while. No, but look. But anyway, I think Baba Fur is here in the space today, and it seems like he's ready to go. But as he gets us and serenades us and wakes us up emotionally, intellectually, go ahead and think about what your offering would be. Ashe?
Ashe. So I always appreciate the space, and just thank you guys. I want to do Redemption song. I've always, as the song says, just understanding.
I took the seats away. Now we got to put them back.
It's a song of rebellion and pushing forward and perseverance, and I've always appreciated that. So I've always loved to share that. Thank you.
Yes, they're rabbi, stole out from the merchant ships. Minutes after they took out from the bottomless pits. But my hand was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. Faster this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever had. Redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy. None of them are gonna stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever had. Redemption song. Redemption song. Whoa, pirates, yes, they're robbers. Sold out to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took out from the bottomless pits. But my hands were made strong by the hand of the Almighty. To foster true help to sing. These songs of freedom is all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song. These songs of freedom.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you, y'all.
Ashe.
I think one of the most important things about coming to TNAT for me is that we're not here to indoctrinate you into anything. We're here to cause you to have understanding. And that's what I look for, because understanding, I think it's in the Bible, it says, in all you're getting, get understanding. And so we've been indoctrinated on so many levels, spiritually, religiously, and religion really has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with man, somebody else's interpretation of who God is, and then they indoctrinate us. But here is a place where you can receive understanding so you can begin to think outside of the box and make your own decisions. Decisions about what? Decisions about who you are and what your space and place is in this place that we call Earth, and what our mission is, and what we're supposed to be doing individually as well as collectively. So I want to share some music with you. I'll do it a cappella, and it's about peace. It's about peace. I found peace the other day when I took my prayer rug out. I found peace, and so can you. But first you must renounce sin. In his hand he holds the key to our lives, to our destiny. But it is up to us to follow God's way. In the end, he will redeem us. Found peace when I prayed. Oh, just the other day, I found peace, and so can you. But first you must renounce all sin. Peace will come. Don't despair. Cling to truth. Be aware. Love will guide you. Light will find you. Don't despair. Be aware. Oh, peace will come. Don't despair. Cling to truth. My people, you must be aware. Light will guide you. Love deep within inside you. Don't despair. be away. Thank you. And when the song sings about sin, it's not what it means being out of alignment with God. You know, some people are taught sin is not doing this, not doing that, or doing this or not doing that. And sin goes deeper than that. When we are not true to ourselves and who we are supposed to be on this planet, that's a sin. No. When we see people that look like us, and instead of offering love, we offer disdain, that's a sin. So the song is encouraging us really from a place of love, first to accept ourselves and then one another. I'm complete.
Shay, thank y'all. Give Mama Faluki another round of applause. Is there another?
I ain't singing though. I can do a little something. But my name is Baba Ausar. We're gonna do a little healing today. We talking about springtime, and according to Chinese medicine, it's connected to the liver because the liver is one of the organs that you can really cut and it'll grow back. Did y'all know that? It'll grow back itself. Yeah. So the liver also represent the color green. Okay, and like when you look at the trees and you see the everything is blossoming, everything is coming back to life. Some people say this is the new year. In a fact, according to what you believe, but I'm not gonna get into all of that. We got a whole bunch of everybody that thinks different in here, which is good. But the sound is say SHHHHHHH. Give you a sound like that. Say like you're doing this. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Breathe out and say. Very good. That was a test. All right. Now your liver is on this side, right? The liver is here, right underneath your rib cage, right here. It's about that big too. It's really a big organ. Okay. And so what we're gonna do when we say shoe, we're gonna say shoe, and we're gonna turn this direction over this side, right, to open up the space for the liver. Okay. So we're gonna say like this, like that. You got me? All right. Let me get off my tail, whatever that is. All right, ready? Take a deep breath in from the earth. Bring it down, bring it up, and say, don't forget to twist over to the other side. So you twist into there you go. Bring it back down, breathe in. Imagination is everything. Grab the energy from the ground. If you imagine it, you are doing it. Bring it up to your liver. Rub 2 times and bring it up. Bring it back down. Bring it in front. Grab the energy from the earth. 1, 2, 3, ABC. Everything is good. Bring it up from out of the earth. Get the heavens energy. 1, 2, 3. Now bring the heaven energy down to the human stage. Bringing it all the way down, and let all the negative emotion go out and down into the ground. All right, feel it real good. Ready? Energy out of the earth, bring it up. Bring it up to the human stage, to the heaven stage. The energy from the heavens. And bring that energy down. I'm doing it with one hand, y'all should be doing it with 2, but that's okay. And bring it down. So it look like this. Energy, grab energy. Bring it up. Grab energy from the heavens. And like you got a whole bunch of spiritual energy, like water dumping over you. Let it wash. One last. 1, 3. Bring energy up.
Thank you, Baba. Give Baba also a meditative round of applause. All right. One more. Does anybody else has something to share? Oh, you got something, Bob? Okay.
The birthmark. That's what distinguishes us all in a certain respect. It's that which stands out that makes us unique and distinct in a certain regard. The beauty of the imperfection. Imperfection and its beauty. No matter what's discussed, it can be touched upon from another level and perspective. So I'll just chime in as the flow goes. Thank you.
I see. Round of applause. Give out dear Baba a round of applause. All right, look, you got something there, brother Jamal. Like you ready. Getting in position. Just flowing. Okay. Okay, well, welcome. All right, thanks. So what I want to do is get started, right? Brother Losi, if you can hit it. As we take a journey, just reflect. It's about going deep inside of you, not deep externally. Pace ourselves today.
Things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. Oh, light. Yeah. Oh, light. I am light. I am light.
So last week, we started with the message, a sermon or whatever you want to call it. Again, spirit didn't cause you to stay wounded. It called you to rise. And Mama Faluka hit on something earlier when she said it's about alignment, right? And not being out of alignment with God. It just depends on what you identify it as. You could call that God, spirit. You can call that your inner self even. Because at the end of the day, it's about, I realize I've been on this journey. I'm saying a lifelong journey. I'm writing this book and I didn't even realize all of it as clear as I'm beginning to hear it and experience it as I put it down on paper and put it down in my thoughts and my notes, is that it's about alignment. And this day is a beautiful day. As I remember as a child, I gotta appreciate my father, because he didn't know what he was creating, because he was so surprised that I became the person that I am. And I wasn't a becoming, it was an evolving process. So he didn't know, because I've always been a quiet person. And I want to kind of really touch on that, because I think it's important that we share our stories, not out of impressing people, as they say. It's about pressing upon us that he and those of us have done something right. Even if he didn't in his wildest minds realize that I was gathering that when he involved me around, like this young man. He didn't in his wildest mind realize I was soaking that up. He didn't in his wildest mind, he probably hoped, prayed, but at the same time, you know how that goes as a parent. But what I'm saying is continue to pass. And guess what? It's not too late. And don't get confused because someone's stumbling off the path, because it's already in them. And as I spoke about that emotion, that intellect, sometimes the desires that are pressed upon us by society sometimes can become roadblocks. But they are not, and they don't have to be permanent roadblocks. They're just lessons to be learned. So I was reflecting this morning, so I got a sheet here, and I always try to use the sheet as a guide. Don't even mean we're going to hit on all of it. And I want to hear you talk. I love to hear people talking, because I want to build up off the what we did last week. See, me, I don't talk just to hear myself talk. I want to hear what you have to say. But something earlier, Baba Abu Jamal hit me up with a blessing. And I'm going to use that type of language because it's a blessing. I said blessing. So, they say synchronicity, right? Yes. So that he said, don't stop the message from last week. He said, continue it on. Because last week, I stood up and did the message. That hits people in a certain way. But how does it sink in? And I realized that I'm what I mean, and I'm saying this with all humility, that I'm about depth. Sometimes it sounds like I'm just trying to go too deep. People are like, why are you talking about that? Why? Look, just move on to something else. No, it's about it. It's about us embodying what we talk about. Right? So let me go back to what I'm saying. My father, and growing up as a young man, very quiet young man, still quiet. People don't realize it. They probably just think I'm standoffish. I'm not standoffish at all. I'm just a quiet type of shy person, or introverted extrovert, something like that. So I can look a certain way, but reality is I'm very reflective and introspective. And all that stuff that he was instilling in me, not with his community and the temple that we grew up in, or the temple that he took me to, called the Universal African Church at that time, AKA the Temple of Mayat, or the Mayat Temple. What is it about? Mayat Temple was in me. And I want to speak the truth to power. Because something about what they were saying, whether or not how things went, it instilled a certain level of critical awareness and critical thinking in me that I could not cut off. So much so, I probably caused him headaches. I told him before, I said, you did this to me. So now you begin to challenge even your own elders. You ask questions. Part of it is biology, neurology, but the other part is nurturing. Is that right, Bob? Is it nature or nurture? It's both, always. And guess what? Nature impacts you on a biological level as well. And let me make sure I'm saying that right. Nurture, meaning that what you experience in the world, what you experience impacts you on a physiological level. It wires you a certain way. It prepares you a certain way. But you also come into this world with a certain level of wiring. But that wiring evolves as you experience and engage and interact with the world. So it's never one or the other. It's always all. And in the Western society, what we do is we often try to segment, compartmentalize, and try to dissect it to its finest whatever. But really, there's some strength in that to see what the actual thing is. But it's more than that. It's all of it. People often come to me as a psychotherapist and ask me the question. They're looking for where their trauma began. I mean, you're more than your trauma. Let me say that. You're more than trauma. But the reality is, even if you just want to talk about the trauma, it wasn't one thing. But even in that trauma, there's another side. I was listening to a sister. I mean, what's her name? Sambu, Some, the mama, the wife. And actually, ChatGPT told me to check out because we were co-warriors in the same path as I'm writing this book. And what she said was profound, because I agree that she says that your wound and your gift is two sides of the same coin. So she said, if you look in your wound deep enough, you will find your gift. And the wound that you have, your wounds or your experiences have created something in you. And I'm saying to a deep level, where some of us are actually finally in tune or attuned because of what we had to do. Many of us grew up too fast. Let's keep that a buck. But it gave us a certain level of understanding, a certain level of reaction. Sometimes we look at our children now and we raise them up in healthy households, quote unquote. I'm saying quote unquote. And they're not as astute or as fast as you were. And sometimes we think they're falling behind. But the reality is, they don't have to do all those things out of survival to be where you were at that time, because you created an atmosphere where they could grow up, learn, make some mistakes and all of that. I'm saying it might need to be balanced out some though. And what I mean by balance, sometimes we coddle too much and then we got to let them go and hurt and feel some things, because they will not become who they need to be if they don't experience a thing. Sometimes we've experienced too much of a thing. And because we experience so much of a thing, we start to, Baba, you got something? Go ahead.
When I was young, I think I was 15 years old, and I got mad at the household. So I told my mother I'm running away, and she's hollering and crying like a mother would do. And my father said, Eva, let him go. And that even made me even madder. Because now you don't care about me in my little mind. You understand what I'm saying? He said, Eva, let him go. And I went. I went. I think I stayed like a month and a half, 3 months. We had a job. We were doing crazy stuff and everything. And so eventually I woke up one morning. It's because we didn't have cell phones. And I went to the telephone booth and called my mother and asked her, could I come back home? And she said, you always got a home, right? So I ran away from the people I ran to and ran back home. And so when I got in the house and walking up the stairs, my father was in there. And my father, he's an older man. And my father was 73 when he had me. So I'm the last of 21. So everything that I thought that I was doing, that was bringing to him new, he had seen it all before. Now that I think back at it, you know what I'm saying? So he was sitting in the chair and I came upstairs. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "Hey," I was just glad he spoke to me. You understand what I'm saying? But he knew already I was coming back. I didn't know it. I'll show you. That's it.
So bringing it back on that path, and when I appreciate you starting off earlier talking about religion. So I'm very careful about religion because I understand that we all, to some degree, have things that we hold on to. And I understand that sometimes religion is something that can keep many of us. But I also today, I'm just saying today, I realized that I will be doing a disservice not to challenge it a bit more though. Not to challenge it to destroy it, but to help us see outside of these prisms. You can respect the thing, but also at the same time challenge us to look beneath and above and around and within it. So growing up, my father and even the Universal African Church of Maya Temple spoke about Ausar. Back in those days, they used to always say Osiris. You know, that's the Greek word for Ausar. And I thought my father actually was going to talk about the story and the pieces and the scattered pieces. Now, if you want to, you can. And how Ausar was dismembered and Aset or Isis put all the pieces back together again. And I'm saying when I look at that narrative and how I look at that, I've always looked at things and see how they connect holistically. And those pieces that were scattered amongst, and Baba can give you the whole story, and Isis or Aset sent the children to gather the pieces plus his phallus to bring them, what was it, 15 pieces? I didn't prepare it. 14 pieces? Thank you. So they gathered all the pieces again to raise this figure known as Ausar or Osiris back up again.
So what it was, y'all heard me? Yeah, okay. So what it was is that Sat killed his brother Ausar, right? Sat killed his brother Ausar, right?
Yeah, he tricked Haru.
He tricked him, right? And then what happens is that they took the body and then they put it down on the island. So like people was going to look for this body. So when Seth found out he was going to look for the body, he told his henchmen or whatever you want to call them to go down there and cut the body up into pieces. And then they threw the phallus into the Nile River, and the catfish supposedly ate the phallus up. So that's why some people don't eat catfish today, they say. You see what I'm saying?
The phallus is the male member, okay?
Yeah. And so when they went down there and had scattered the body all around, so they came upon some children on the island and say, "We will take you to find the body parts." Hence Easter, looking for Easter eggs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So everything come together.
Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, the Easter egg hunt, right? Do they still have that? But anyway, oh, for real? Yeah. So that's what our stories go back so far to what I say? Familiar with everything that we really do today, but we really don't know why we're doing it. And that's why it kind of feels good to us, because it's in our DNA. Ashe.
So the story that would be juxtaposed or tantamount to that would be the resurrection of Christ. And I think that's important to understand. And the way I was taught, even if Christ the historical figure, some debate that he, the historical biblical figure, was no greater than you. That he is your brother, and when he says God, in fact, God, that you also have the same relationship. So that growing up as a young man had really given me information that I had this information by myself. Think about it. My friends didn't have this information. I'm walking around with a whole different perspective my whole life looking at things from various perspectives. What I'm saying is, don't rob our children. What I'm saying is, I'm telling that to myself, we have to look at things from multiple perspectives, because when we can, we won't get so caught in one way of doing the thing. In fact, we'll be able to appreciate the multiple lenses, the multiple frameworks, the multiple, just the way that you conceive the world becomes just so much greater. And you don't lock them into boxes and stunt their intellectual, emotional growth. Because when we tell people that these things are the only way of looking at a thing, then we stunt their growth. So last week, some of the things we went over, I put here core truths we named. Spirit didn't call you to stay wounded. Spirit called you to rise. I said, liberation is not a vibe, it is a vow. Vow. That clip is doing pretty good on YouTube right now. Yeah. It's not a vibe, it's a vow. Because like one thing I realized that I'm real serious when I say I'm going to do a thing. I'm asking us, how serious are we about? Thank you. How serious are we about liberation, whether that be internal or external, collective liberation? How serious are we about that? Either way, it requires us to have to put the pieces back together. Inside of ourselves, the dismembered parts and aspects of ourselves, which you also see in the pantheon of ancient Kemetic or Western African Ifa traditions, what have you, see that is all about bringing those different aspects from the pantheons that are inside of you. You may have a core aspect or strength, but it's still about balancing that all those aspects of yourself in accord with nature. Lots of times what we do, we get out of balance because we're not in balance with what is natural. We're in a society that the unnatural is natural and the natural is something special. And what do I mean by that? Just quickly. We think that organic food is special, but it's supposed to be just normal. We think that giving women off during times of when they just had a baby is something special, and you get it because you got a special job with special benefits, but it's just not normal. It's normal. It should be normal. It should be expected. But in a society that is backwards, you have something, brother? You have to fight for things like that. In a society where, just look at how imbalanced it is. Especially, we can modernize, but in a society where women have to wait in lines for the bathroom even, because it's a society made for men, where they got the same amount of bathrooms in most places, but we know that it's going to, that line shouldn't be that long for sisters. We should think about things like that. I'm just saying. But a society doesn't think about nature. You can modernize, but you're going to have to take into account certain things. So again, we also talked about healing is not a performance. It is clarity, courage, and accountability. I said some people are curating their suffering rather than committing to their rising. We're in a society that believes that your trauma is it pedestalizes you. It puts you up on our traumas make us popular. In fact, our traumas make us special spiritual gurus. Our trauma make us special artists. But when it's out of order, you're just adding to the mischief. What I'm saying is we got all types of gifts, but we out of balance. And those who are the most out of balance are the ones we admire the most. I was reading a book. It's called Quiet. And it spoke about how back in the early 1900s, Dale Carnegie, y'all heard of Dale Carnegie? And he came, and the whole thing came around. Dale Carnegie came on the scenes and taught everybody how to be extroverts and taught everybody how to be the perfect type of personality to get ahead in America. So it says it went from a society that valued values to a society that valued certain levels of personality and charisma and all these external things. Went from a society, I'm not saying this society was perfect. Don't get that twisted. But what I'm saying is we bought into it as well. In a society that values outward expressions of dysfunction. What y'all got to say? Blessings. How y'all doing? Y'all want to come in? Okay, y'all can have a seat. Y'all in the company with family.
I just say, just adding on what you were saying, how you were saying, this society tells us that trauma gives this type of strength or umph or something like that. But really, the strength is when you recognize that you do have the trauma and you go forth to correct it. That's where the strength is at, not in the trauma itself.
Yeah, it's about integration. It's about integrating oneself.
Now, I was going to say how you said it's people who we idolize the most that, are struggling the most with that have this stuff backwards. And I was listening to music I grew up on, and I realized how horrible the words was. When I was growing up, I was in love with the artist. And it just made me think about how I probably was getting programmed at that time in my life, and I didn't even realize that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your name?
My name is Marrakesh.
Marrakesh? All right, thanks for joining us. I say. Anybody else? I see you got $1 million smile over there. You're an artist? But are you an artist? Let me use my gift in identifying, brother. You got something you gonna say? Okay, all right.
People still continue in the indoctrination, and they never do the self-help or the self-care to be able to say, oh, you know what? I need to come out of that because I need to be here now and not there. And I need to examine how that affected me and my awareness at that time, and what fruit am I producing now because of that. And because I think we have so many things coming at us as African people. We have our family history, we have the community history, we have the social history, and even the global history. And because the continental African experience is so much more different than ours. And you go there, you see that. But we have a lot of dynamics that we're dealing with, which means that there are a lot of layers to peel back to be able to see what really is happening. Because a lot of what we're seeing is just an illusion anyway. And we bought it. Illusion. Yeah.
We're illusion and we deluded.
Yeah, we're deluded.
One thing I think is essential in these type of discussions across the board is that has anyone ever considered first we have to learn how to learn? And once you learn how to learn, you have to learn what to learn? I should.
Go ahead.
I want to piggyback off what you said to some extent. I think that it's not as easy to identify healthy examples because they're not always in the forefront. They exist, but they're not always in the forefront. And what I'm learning is like with the awareness of like things that I'm not doing well or blind spots, then becomes a responsibility to to make a difference or change the behavior, or at least to accept the behavior, but at least be aware of it now. And um, it's a constant like honing. I think about like the guitar, like tuning the guitar. Sometimes you'll be off tune a little bit this direction. Sometimes you'll be off tune in this direction. But you gotta constantly hone it to kind of like stay in balance. Um, and it's easier to tune the guitar when there's something else in tune to keep you in tune. But it's harder when you're playing and you're not even aware that it's out of tune. You get what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that becomes the mission that I'm calling in the book that I'm writing. I'm calling it inward rites of passage or inward rites.
So, question: is that a solo process, or can it be a solo and a group process?
All the above. I think that we have to do both because we have to, in order to do one, you have to do the other. Because many times we come into these type of circles, but we don't do any deep reflection. We are afraid to go in there. We're afraid that what's going to come out once we go in. And we don't think that we can handle the feeling. So we run away from the feeling. The feeling is, you have to feel. I say you have to feel in order to deal. If you're not feeling and you're running away from your feelings, I'm not saying feeling the spirit. That's another thing I want to separate. Because then what we see and what we believe is that feeling is spirit. But so that's how we get all these figures in front of us just expressing all types of emotion all over the place. Hence Kanye. We can see the brilliance in them, but we can also, if you can't see the pain, then you're missing it. And then we can't have empathy for them because we can't see the pain. Because we're afraid to go into our own pain. Once we can go into our own pain, we can begin to recognize others. I was telling dear brothers earlier today, I can see the young person in your eyes when I look at you. That innocent being, that innocent aspect of you. And that's a beautiful place. That's the place that I say we should return. I don't say you should a lot, but I'm saying if you want to heal, if you want to grow, if you want to elevate, I don't get stuck at healing because I think that's limiting. Because I think if you haven't had any traumas, which is impossible if you lived in this world, I'm not saying you was traumatized, but I'm saying we've all experienced some wounds. You scraped your knee a few times on a physical level. You scrape your emotions and your heart and all that on an emotional, intellectual level, or spiritual level. So if we want to heal and grow, we have to continue to do that work. That inward work is important. And I don't stop there because we have to do it on a collective level. Because if you do it all by yourself, then you're just going to go back into the toxic waters and get hurt all again. That's why safe spaces are, and I call them sacred spaces, because safe spaces aren't enough. It's pop culture, pop therapy, all of that. And what I mean by that is therapy talks about safe spaces. I'm outlining this again, that safe spaces are not enough. Safe spaces just say, let you express your thing. That's a part of it. But at some point, you have to realize the thing that you express has to be combated in order for you to grow. It has to be challenged. And lots of therapists are afraid to go there. A lot of healers are afraid to go there. It's not enough to have catharsis. As many say, catharsis without insight is futile. You have to get insight. And it's not enough to over-intellectualize things, because lots of us stay in our heads because these are weapons. These are protective coverings. These shield us from our emotions. And our emotions also shield us from our intellect. I don't get stuck. What I'm saying is, I hear the debate in the fights all the time as if one is better than the other. I call it overcorrection.
So the key is really to integrate it. Let what's happening here go to the heart and then be able to process it from the heart.
Our African ancestors always say with heart and mind. I don't know where it starts. Some of us, look, we can fight that all day. You know, we can look. Just connect them. So,
if I can use myself as an example, to in a sense, like, I've more recently become aware of my own blind spot in a way, where I would do a thing where I think you call it black and white thinking, where it's like overcorrection is a good way to put it. Also, like, I'll go from being hyper independent to then being very like, well, if I can't be here, then I need to be codependent. Yes. And it's almost like I'm thinking a more healthy version is that sometimes there's co-regulation and sometimes there's self-regulation. Sometimes there's independence and it's not hyper independence. Sometimes it's codependence in a healthy way. Sometimes people will be there for you, and when they're not there for you, then you still have to show up for yourself. But you got to be able to flip the switch almost like fluently and go between all of these different things, opposed to definitively saying, well, I guess I got to be this, and I'm completely turning and sticking into that. Or I gotta be this, or I'm gonna speak, or I'm gonna be quiet. Like, no, I can say my thought, I can speak my mind, but then not to ruminate on it if I'm not getting the response I want. Or the opposite, I can stay quiet, but not out of this place of, well, I can't speak my mind. So really not going so the coin is heads or tails, as black or white. It's really more fluent. And it's a constant balance and teeter-totter between a bunch of different experiences that really, I think, will help me become more just healthier overall, instead of ever considering like I have to completely change one direction or the other.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. And one of the things my mind typically goes to how to bring all the pieces together seamlessly, in a sense. So when we say no, people aren't there for us, I think people are always there for us. Maybe sometimes how we want them to be there for us, maybe not. But even if it's not those people, it's other people. Because what happens is lots of times we feel alone, and the reality is that's a real place. But the reality is there are people, I'm talking about emotionally, but in reality, there's always a place. And I'm going back to this comment you made earlier about the examples, right? They put these examples before us, but once we realize, I think once we realize, we can find spaces, but what is our appetite? That's the next thing. Because our appetite desires that which we've been fed for so long. Even when we find the places and the spaces and the people, we can find those other places to find us, allows us to have places of escape. So we are addicted to that which has been fed to us. So we have to work like we in SA programs, Spiritual Anonymous, EA programs, Emotional Anonymous, and IA programs, Intellectual Anonymous. Make sure I put that in my book. We'll go ahead. You know what I'm saying? So somebody note that down. All right. So we have to work through these things because we are addicted. They feel good. And we can rationalize anything just like anybody who's addicted to anything. Oh, no. People die when they don't smoke. Oh, this sugar. I see people die who do all that healthy stuff. You know, like we can I'm not saying there's no truth to that because one thing ain't killing you. It's all the things, including that brain of yours. It's some of the most healthiest people out here who eat all the healthiest thing and still snort cocaine. But there's some of the healthiest people out here who still have anger in them that is really deteriorating themselves. So it has to be a balance of things, not just one thing. But lots of times we're lopsided. So let me move on. Part 2, reflection questions from last week. If I'm going to ask you to reflect internally, or even when you leave here, you don't have to answer these questions out loud. But if you feel led to, go out there and jump it, throw it out there. But first, I want us to kind of set the mood for it and let Brother Carlos drop something on us. As pertains to the reflection questions, I'm not sure if you had a chance to look over them. The first one is, what wounds are you still performing rather than healing? What wounds are you still performing rather than healing? I see Brother Fur.
So I'm sure, but I didn't say it was gonna be easy. Growing up, I learned that I had to, and right, wrong, and different. Let me not say learn. I discovered that if I want to be seen, I need to be an overachiever. I need to push. I need to become homecoming king, and need to get Wall of Fame for track, and need to be nationally ranked, and need to get good grades, and I need to get a scholarship, and I need to keep pushing more. I need to get on the team, and everything down the line. And that doesn't really serve me anymore because it's not an excuse not to show up, but it's definitely I'm good enough without having to go through extreme extents in order to be seen.
Yeah, that's a real one there. I appreciate that. Extreme extents in order to be seen. And I appreciate that because how we're connecting this back is that a lot of talented people grow out of that due to their desire to be seen. The talents are there, but does the inside, is it in alignment? Is it balanced? Was it extreme in that area without everything else catching up with it? Is it asynchronous or is it synchronous? When I say asynchronous, I mean when you might be so strong in this area, but you understand these other pieces of you have not caught up. When we talk about Mayat, we talk about balance. There's a lot of asynchrony going on in us. How do we balance all these aspects of ourselves? First of all, we have to identify it as a thing. And two, as Mama was speaking about, we have to allow others to help us through that process. We need mirrors, as Brother First spoke about. And those mirrors are out there. But another concept that I have, I call the F that switch. Y'all know what F that means? F that. Forget that. That's the clean version. Yeah, forget that. But y'all know the other version. Y'all know when we go into these introspective moments in our lives where we about to reach this revelation, we say F that. Even if it's about others, we like F that. It bubbles up and then we just let it go down. It's not me. It's them. It's not me. It's him. It's not me. It's her. The F that switch blocks our synchronous development. The F that switch stops all types of insight. I've been fighting. I made this up. I'm telling you, as a young person, like, I gotta get past the switch. Oh, I gotta get past the switch. Because that switch is like about to hit, and you just slow down and take a breath and say, hold up, don't let this thing just disappear out of my mind or my spirit or whatever part of it is. You know, it's all constructs. Wherever it is, don't let it go because it's just about to fade away. But you know what? No. Really deal with it and say, you know what? That's not them. That's me. That don't mean they ain't doing some things. But how am I also participating? They could be doing the worst things. I'm talking about they could be totally wrong with all American standards. I'm saying all wrong. I'm saying they deserve to get locked up wrong. Well, how are you participating? That is one of the, let's think about in the cases of abuse. It is one of the most interesting phenomenons when you work with people who are in abusive relationships. And abusive relationships go surpass what's going on between a man and a woman, or a woman and a man, or a woman and a woman, whoever. It goes past that. In those intimate romantic relationships, I'm talking about to your familiar relationships. How do we participate in these and continue to participate in these things? What is our part? We all play a part. Sometimes we stay because we are so comfortable in what they call the dirty pain versus wanting to look at that clean pain. Clean pain is hard. That's what you have to stop the F. You have to stop the F that switch from flicking so that you can go into the dirty pain. To the clean pain. The dirty pain is when the F that switch wins. It clicks. Ploop. It stops the insight. It stops the lesson. Y'all follow me? Gotta fight the F that switch. I'm saying insights come in and you just let it pow. It's like a rat trap or a mouse trap. Pow! And you just let it go. Perhaps it'll come back another day. But growth comes in fighting the F that switch and continuously pointing the finger. The finger deserves to be pointed. But you can't change other people. The only person you want to have, you can, if you try to have some level of control over, is yourself. And that's hard enough. Very hard. But I'm saying as we develop, as we evolve, we should practice that. Sometimes, even those of us who really master that in some degree, we didn't master it because we go right back to default as well. And then we got to remind ourselves, you know what? You know what? I didn't reach a point. Did I plateau? And for those aspirants or those life aspirants, the mountain don't end. I always think about something, I can't remember which book it is, the Hermetica or the Stolen Legacy or something that talks about that the body grows old, but that which is internal never dies. Whether that be your intellect, your spirit, or what have you, you can always harness that. You can always hone that in more. You can always improve that. Oh, you want to say that again? I'm going to say it for you. He said, the body is weak, the spirit is strong. Absolutely. And that's simple stuff. And simple stuff don't fit us because we crave so much other things. We crave how people say things. We crave how things have been written. I mean, I'm not saying it's not beautiful, but we don't even, it can be so beautifully laid out, but we miss the message for the feeling. And look, I know sometimes I can say some things that sound pretty good, but I don't want to say, I mean, I want to sound good too, but I would rather you understand what the hell I'm saying. Pardon my language. I don't want to just be I don't want to be a entertainer. I'm not saying entertaining is beautiful. I mean, I want to be an edutainer or a evolver, whatever, something to help us grow, not just feel good. Because feel good, we're addicted to feel good. We're addicted to I'm living my best life. We're addicted to what's the one they say? I can't even think about it right there. I'm having a good time. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna have a good time. Y'all don't hear the people saying it now? A good time. They even call themselves I'm a good time. Y'all heard that? A lot of people call, especially our sisters, they say, I'm a good time. I want to be a good time. Y'all understand what that means though?
Have fun, they don't care. You know, sky's the limit.
Whatever it is, it can be sexually. I don't want any. Like, so the constant struggle in psychotherapy is that I'm tired of doing all this work. I'm tired of doing this work. Why does it have to always be me? So then people go through this vacillation of work and back to a good time. Individually, in couples, in families, I want a good look. Why does it have to be so hard? I want to go back to default. Why does it have to be so hard? Because anything worth it, you have to struggle through it. And the more you do it, the more strong you become. But to continuously have to think about how you improve yourself inwardly, it's a lot of work.
I'm talking a lot, but I'd say also something that I'm learning is if you have the capacity to do the deeper work, that you also have to back off sometimes and have a good time in its own balance, in its own way. For me, like I'm always trying to go deeper, and that's not always great either. then I can almost go too far. And I'm looking for answers, and it may not be the right time for the answer.
Well, can I flip it?
I'm fine with that. I'm just
No, I get it. But again, that message to you is the opposite, but it's the same. So if you always trying to go deeper, that is your good time. Your good time is going deeper. You're overdoing it. And then we can become victims of it. I'm deep one. I'm not saying you. Oh, I'm always going deeper. See, you're not deep enough. I'm doing the work. No, you ain't doing the work you need to do. You're doing the work you think they need to do. That's again that pretense, that's that pretense mode versus the emotional equivalence mode, or vice versa. What I mean by that, some of us go into our minds trying to do the work, doing the work, supposedly, but you ain't doing no work if that's what you do. Like, it's kind of like telling somebody, it's kind of like saying, well, I'm always trying to articulate myself. I articulate myself in circles all the time. No, you talk too much. You talk too much. I get it. You trying to pull everybody to where you are, but the reality is that's easy for you. So don't trick me with that. It's kind of like I talk to brothers in the community, and I realize we like this Black Power stuff. We do. I love it. We love it. I love it. I love reading all the books. I love doing all this heavyweight. I love it. People are like, have fun. What are you talking about? I'm having the most fun of my life. I'm coming. I'm ecstatic. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Have fun. You go to the club or something. The club ain't fun to me. This stuff is fun to me. What are you talking about? So I had to really be real with it. Like, okay, I could be here telling y'all gotta get this. I'm trying to tell you, you gotta get this black stuff. But that wouldn't be fair. I want y'all to get the black stuff. But the reality is I can talk about this black stuff all day. And guess what? It'll have me all up. I'll be going forever. Forever. And y'all be like, man, it's 5 o'clock. Look, bro. I'll be like, look, you just gotta be like me. and you might mean it, right? But you're not even realizing that you would have wore your wife out over there. So, all right, can we go get something to eat? You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is not that she isn't or somebody else isn't for it, but we have to be realize where we just kind of like loved it. Well, you need to read. You read all day. You enjoy it. You like being in the closet like a hermit. Yes, I do. And I like coming out. And some people in this circle, they don't. It's a limit for some people in this circle because they need to go and replenish. Then some of us, we just love it. Woo, 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 woo. You know. So again, the good time for us is different. That's what I'm trying to say. You gotta. It's relative to your situation, Baba.
Yeah, good times is relative. My good time is reading, writing, studying. It's all relative. But, pardon me. No, that works for me. Oh no, that's
it's
love,
your passion. Bro. It's your love.
That's my love. That's why I'm here. One of the reasons. But what I'm hearing, Brother Baba, is that confliction that you spoke of last week. That's internal, and I call it duplicity. And we're always fighting with duplicity within self. Mm-hmm. We're always, but it can be mastered. And in terms of black this, I'm struggling this. If a person continues to say, I am doing, I am seeking, I am searching, rest assured they are not. Let me tell you why.
I know.
I'm looking for a job. Every time you see me, I'm looking for a job. I got the job. I no longer say I'm looking for a job. So the person that says I'm trying to get religious, I'm trying to get spiritual, I'm trying to get in tune, attuned, whatever the case may be, and he or she's been saying this for years, maybe decades even, they fooling their own selves.
I say. Let me hit one of these questions real quick, then move on. What does it mean, number 4, for you to rise with discipline rather than just desire? You can pick the mic back up. Don't shut it down so nobody else won't speak, though. Don't shut it down. Don't slam dunk it. Go ahead, Bob.
Discipline supersedes desire, because we all have desire on some level. But do we have the discipline to carry out or see it through? I say.
And even that, when we understand personality, that's another thing I'm being real honest about. My personality type is that I'm high on what they call conscientiousness. Y'all ever heard of that domain, part of personality? That's order, that's structure, that's dutifulness, that's all these things that keep a person kind of doing things right. So that's one aspect of the personality, but it keeps you discipline is my framework. What is it called? It's like continuously going and all that type of thing. And I mean, like, you will burn people out because you don't know your personality in comparison to someone else's. So I'm organized just in my inner self. Some of us have to literally do it. So some people say, so how you stay so organized? What, you got a calendar? What, you got this? No, well, that is my framing for what happened to me, biologically or through nurture. They're like, so it's kind of like somebody say, oh, I'll be feeling sorry, brothers. They be like, hey, brother, how you get your beard like that? What you kind of oil using? Nothing. My daddy and my mommy, my DNA, the chromosomes or something. But they be like, I just want to get mine, like the brother, you got his popping off over there, right? So it's some things are just in certain people, and then we try to be like them. It's about being like us. Everybody has strengths, and even people, let's say that's just like very disorganized. There's a strength in that disorganization. They just have to understand it. And part of the struggle is they want to be like somebody else. And believe me, the funnest people are the most disorganized. They would light this plot up, they the most all over the place. We just got to learn to accept them. They got to learn to accept themselves. Stop trying to put yourself in, what'd you say? Try putting round pegs in square circles or something earlier. Yeah, or vice versa. If we learn to accept our differences, it'll be a lot easier. And we'll be able to collectively come together. If we learn to accept certain people off of certain places. See, the problem is we're in the United States where there's hierarchy put on things. And everybody wants to be that person that happened in the 1910s or 20s that I spoke about earlier, when they said everybody had to be an extrovert. And people going to school to Dale Carnegie, how to speak, how to do this, how to do that. Because now society tells you if you're introverted, you are a sucker. But introverted people are some of the most deepest people, if not the deepest people. But what I mean deep in introspection doesn't mean that they're the most artistic. It doesn't mean they're not. But what I'm saying is we have to learn. You don't have to, but I think if we want to raise ourselves up in our society, in our families, in our cultures, is to understand everybody's differences. And not in this Western pathological sense where you pedestalize people's traumas. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, when I was real young, my mother told me I was an introvert. At the time, I did not know what she meant. And like you, Baba, I'm still very shy, but you would never tell me. In fact, I had to, for the nature of my work and endeavor, I had to pull myself out of my cocoon of being shy. But take me out of this circle environment right here, I'm shy. It's just about that introvert. I mean,
yeah.
Yes.
And what's the other word? Ambivert. Yeah. And I think that's that balance piece, right? But some people are more introverted, some people are more extroverted. But it's okay to do both because we all are a little bit of anything, anyhow. You know what I mean? Nobody's 100%. Nobody's 100% anything. Maybe, yes, that might sit well. Yeah. But you got a little extrovert in you in the right given times.
just wanted to add to the question.
Did the mic go off? Let me make sure
It's still on. It's still
it's
on.
on. Okay.
Yeah, I need to work on projecting. That's all.
Oh.
So the question talks about being disciplined versus desire. If you look up the root word of discipline, it talks about, or the first thing I thought actually was a disciple of Christ. And I said, well, what does a disciple do? Right? And how does a disciple live their life? And when you look at it and understand it, a disciple of Christ study Christ. It's to be a student.
Yes.
In order to be a student, you have to be willing to put yourself in a position to be led and to learn. And when you look at desire, it often is on a different spectrum. Typically, to learn something, typically to gain knowledge, you have to understand that you are lacking something, and in order to gain something, you have to be in a position of that lacking, even if it's artificial, even if it's augmented. There are many people that go to school and say MBAs, know how to run businesses already. But when you go into that program, you got to pretend like you don't know what you're talking about in order for you to gain something. Because if you always knowing everything, you're never going to be able to emotionally receive anything.
I see.
And so when I think of desire versus discipline, I have to be willing to be a student. I have to be willing to learn. And if I trick myself into desiring to be a student, in a way, I've now taken something that I need and turned into something that I want. And it's a circle that feeds into itself of desiring to be disciplined.
I see. Yeah, thank you. Baba. Look, hold up. Look. Y'all felt the energy, right? And I've been in white stagnant spaces. And I know I didn't do this for nobody else. But y'all know he was quiet the whole time, right? So give that brother a round of applause. Like I'm telling you, I went to the white institutions, and then you just drop that mother's giving. Everybody like, and then they come to you and they tell you, "Oh, that was great." You dropped it. Okay, why didn't you give me? Yeah. Go ahead, y'all. Yeah.
Well, it's a story that goes to what you just said. What I'm saying is that I like stories. Stories make a lot of sense. So the student went to see the teacher, let's say.
Yes, sir.
And the student went to see the teacher, and as they sat down, and the teacher performed a ritual of getting the teeth. So the student just went on talking like, I've been here, I studied this, I know all this, I got all this knowledge. Just kept on talking about himself and how much knowledge that he do have, right? And so while he was pouring the tea, he kept on pouring the tea and the cup was running over. And so the student said, hey, the cup is running over. So the guy said, exactly. Come to me when your cup is half full, but I can put something in there. Ashe?
I have something to say, Baba.
What?
African proverb that say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
I also feel that because oftentimes we like to escape and feed our desires. What we have to look at when we're talking about discipline, it means a sacrifice. And a lot of us don't want to sacrifice. But in order to be able to experience a desire holistically, we got to sacrifice something. Something has to die so that something new can live. And to me, that's what discipline means. It means putting aside what was convenient and what was familiar so that I can get into a new space and experience something different. And that's uncomfortable sometimes. I know when I was working out 5:30 in the morning, it was like, that was hard getting up. I would get up at 4 just to get ready, get my mind ready and put my workout clothes on. But as I did it and I saw the results, I was like, I like this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this consistently. It turned into a desire, a healthy desire, and not one that covered up pain, sorrow, or trauma.
Ashe.
It's one thing about desire, discipline, And for me, in my worldview, the underpin of this is motives and intentions. Because the same amount of energy that it takes to do whatever a person does takes the same amount of energy and strength to do what we're doing here. So it really hinges on motives and intentions. Because you can, your motive is to get up at 4 o'clock to run, but somebody else's motive be get up at 4 o'clock to do something else. So this is another telltale sign of where a person's mind and disposition really is relative to what we're doing, both individually and collectively.
Sure. And then there's some people that's a little bit more chaotic, that they don't know what they're going to do at any given moment. They're just scattered about. Because you can be motivated to do a lot of things, whether that be selling drugs. You might even feel fulfilled. You might be doing credit card scams and feel fulfilled and rationalize why. Or not coming here, but going down to Pimlico race course. But then you can be a scattered person, like those parts of Ausar. Or the malefactors on the sides of Yeshua. Speaking in the ear of them. One speaking good, one speaking, just feeling just pulled apart. Scattered, crucified, dismembered, broken. And you can take the same spirit and do something that harms, or you can take the same spirit and do something that helps. You can take the same spirit that does something that hurt, or you can take the same spirit and do something to heal. You know? So but a person can be fulfilled in either way.
Are you being your authentic self? If you're feeding the lower vibration, if you're feeding the negative, are you really being who you are supposed to be?
You know, I think I'll flip that a bit. Are you being your authentic self even if you're helping? Or supposedly helping?
That's a good question, because some people are people pleasers, and they may not be exactly doing it for the right intention or the right motive, but to be included or accepted. Right. So I guess it just depends on what the goal is.
Yeah. I mean, some people really think that they are being their authentic self, because we can rationalize, justify, or whatever. I hear Dr. Gregory say anything we want to believe. I mean, when you really think about what this world has done to us, we can rationalize why we can drop bombs on people. Those of us in this circle can, in some sense. We can rationalize why we should murder people. We can rationalize why we should sell drugs. I'm telling you in a real way. That's not something I'm going to do. But I'm telling you in a real sense we can. I'm not suggesting it. But what I will say is, I do get what you're saying. Lots of that comes from a place of hurt and harm. So for the most part, I would say, no, they're not. But on the other hand, just because one helps, does that mean that they are also being their true selves? Because what I realize, we're in a pedestalized, victimized culture where those who continue to express their hurt out loud, saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more Mr. Nice Woman. But what they haven't really done, besides point the finger at those who they couldn't say no to, is point it back at themselves and say, what was I getting out of this? What was I getting out of not saying no? You got something, brother?
One's genuine self may not be the best version of themselves. And that's a reality that's tough to think about sometimes. Who we are in the inside may not be the best for us at that moment. So the idea that I'm comfortable being my genuine self can actually be toxic. if my genuine self is not who or anything that does good for me. If I'm a drug addict, that my genuine self is seeking that addict, that addiction. But I can never, one should never say that's me being my genuine self. So we have to be willing to challenge even who we are at the deepest of our core if we actually want to grow.
Yeah. I told a brother who sent me a message. He said, I'm being my authentic self. I said, that's fine. I would never say not to be your authentic self. But you should know that your authentic self comes with repercussions. And what I mean by that is you should be your authentic self. And I know we can play with words. And I'm not trying to play on words. I say, yes, you should be your authentic self. But don't be a pedestalized victim. Because when you're being authentic, you got to know that it's going to trigger somebody else's authentic self. And you have to be prepared for that. And then you also need to, you don't have to, but what I'm suggesting is we're reading a lot of pop culture self-help right now. And everybody's doing their authentic self. And you should be your authentic self. But nobody's going to lay over and make it easy for you. Because if you want to be authentically one who speaks up, because I'm in the circle and I want to speak up for myself, just know that Baba don't mean Baba going to shut up. That's why I say this is a sacred space, not a safe space. Safe is a part of it, but it's not the innuendo of it all, as Brother Kevin says. It is a part of it. But we got to do deeper than just express ourselves like we're in a NA meeting. We got to go to the IA and the, what I say earlier, and all the EA and the EA. Woo! Get pumped. You know, y'all, if y'all from Baltimore, y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to close on out, family. And I have here, we've already talked about Ausar, dismembered but not destroyed, reassembled by the Spirit, a symbol of sacred return. Yahshua, betrayed, buried, and resurrected, not to repeat the past, but to fulfill purpose. So use, okay, let me say this. Brother Carlos, just take us on out and we'll go around the circle and we'll have any closing statements. So I'm going to say resurrection isn't just about coming back. It's about coming back aligned. Your clarity is your return. Your order is your uprising. Your light is your legacy. If you've been down long enough, what does rising look like? Not just emotionally, but spiritually, culturally, and historically. What does it look like? If everybody can go around a circle and one statement, one takeaway that you're going to take as you go throughout this new season. We'll start with my dear brother here. It could be one word or one statement. Come on back around.
I guess I would just say that I'm at a weird place right now, so I'm actually really comfortable where I'm at with y'all. And I don't usually feel that way around strangers, so I guess just thank you.
And it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying.
It's being better one day at a time.
We'll take the world to its feet.
Confirmation.
Bring it to its feet.
I am not my best or worst attributes. I'm a mix of all those things.
Homeostasis, which means a balance in all things. It's So finding that balance, which also means to cleanse and to detox and to look at the ugly things as well as the strengths. And so to be able to bring in homeostasis and intellect, heart, emotions, and spirit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing that Mama said. The balance. Try to stay out our head so much and just live in the moment.
Yo, so homeostasis, balance, confirmation. I feel like I'm in a space that I normally don't feel safe in. It's different spaces, sacred space, a place to heal and grow, not just to release emotionally, but to grow as well. Catharsis without insight. Spirit didn't call you to stay wounded. It called you to rise. So just turn it on up, Brother Carlos, and bring us out.
In spite of the air.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for your time. Y'all can experience the vibe, talk, chit chat. If y'all interested in knowing more about what we do, y'all can holler at me. Y'all can holler at Mama. Y'all can holler at y'all can holler at everybody. So we're looking for some soldiers and soldieresses with talents who want to help us rise up. Rise up, family. Blessings.
I guess I'm like the verbalizer, for the back of moving blackwards. This Asiatic black man is a dog spelled backwards. The maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father civilization, God of the universe. Manifesting thoughts with my infinite styles, making sure this travels 23 million miles. The other six I set the crucifix because the heart of the problem is this. Big on it, God.
Teacher got my older putting money in the pen for the rest of the week. Now I'm eating at a soup can. He has a home, drives a caddy to town. Has my old earth believing that he's coming from the ground. Slain of those who fought for what was right. Slayed of those who fell victim to the pipe. A drug controlled substance contained in a vial. Said about a devil as he looks and he smiles. Good at the game of tricknology, but I have knowledge of myself. You're not fooling me. You see, the answer to me is black unity, unification to help our bad situation. I wrote this on a day of wisdom power. All being born of myself. I won't diss the next brother till you pay. That's not my trade. It's just a plan that is designed by the colored man. Now our babies are born to think this is the way of us. That's the way the devil wants it, so it is no fun.